Have you ever wondered what it feels like when your fibroids start to shrink? If you're like me, then you've been on this journey of naturally shrinking and managing your fibroids. And the signs aren't always obvious. Well, until they are. And that usually doesn't happen in the beginning. Today, I'll be sharing the top things I noticed when my fibroids started to shrink, including things like reduced pain, how my periods looked, and one of the biggest wins for me, more bladder control. As a bonus, we'll also be talking about the things that I didn't experience while shrinking my fibroids, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that as well. So if you want to learn more about this topic, you know what to do. Keep watching. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Glam Preezy. If you are new here, hey girl, hey. And to my returning subbies, thank you so very much for returning for another video. As you can see by the title, the thumbnail, and my intro, today we are going to be talking about the top things that I noticed when shrinking my fibroids naturally. Now, if you are new here, first things first, I'm gonna need you to subscribe. And make sure that you thumbs up and comment down below after you watch the video, because I know you are going to gain some useful information out of this video, okay? If you are a part of the family, please make sure that you go down and turn on your post notifications, okay? I upload every week about natural fibroid healing and all of the things that I have learned that have helped me to shrink and manage my fibroids naturally. So as you can see here, I looked pregnant and I can laugh about it now because I've made it to the other side. But when I was going through this, there was nothing funny about it, okay? And I thought it very important to address a couple of things before we get into the video, because I know y'all are gonna ask me, especially my newbies. In this picture, okay, I had somewhere like a half a dozen fibroids in my uterus at this time, with my largest fibroid being over 7 centimeters. Mind you, this was the second time that I got fibroids. The first time I got a laparoscopic myomectomy back in 2019. And yes, the fibroids grew back shortly thereafter. And this is me 2 years later, having achieved that goal of shrinking and managing my fibroids naturally. In this picture, as you can see, my largest fibroid is then 3 centimeters, and the smaller ones are nearly undetectable. And today, January 2025, my uterus volume is even more normalized. So I want to make it clear that this is an ongoing journey. I cannot wait to get into this topic. I do have my notes, and yes, I do have a beverage today. I am drinking a roasted chicory and reishi mushroom adaptogenic tea. I will have it linked for you in the description bar below. You know I got you. So let me take a sip and then y'all gonna come on in, because we got some things to discuss. First up on this list, I noticed my pain and my fatigue being greatly reduced. Even at smaller sizes, I really experienced a lot of pain in my hips, lower back, and abdomen. That was one of the things that, if I could say, never stopped, like constant throbbing of my lower back and my hips mostly. It was almost like having consistent birth pains. And I've never been in labor, but I can only imagine that what I was feeling was like dilating, more energy. That was also one of the very first things that I noticed. And yes, I do have to say that a lot of the energy that I was experiencing came after I started taking the My Happy Flow hormone health vitamin. I used to have such strong fatigue. It was like nothing that I'd ever felt in my life. If you've ever had the flu really, really bad and you feel like there's no life left in you, you know that feeling? That's what I was experiencing every month with my fibroids. And when I started taking the My Happy Flow supplement, it really, really changed my lack of energy. And that's one of the reasons why I always sing its praises, because it gave me hope and it gave me the energy to continue to fight for my health. I feel like if I had not tried that, I don't know where I would be today. Oh my goodness. This is one of the most telling signs on this list. Less pressure in my abdomen. So of course, if you have had fibroids and your fibroids are large or you have many, then there is always this feeling of like fullness and pressure happening in your abdomen. And when that started to let up, I was like, okay, something cooking, okay, and I might be onto something. And while we're on that topic, next up was the best side effect that I could have ever asked for during this journey. Less bladder pressure, which equals more bladder control for me. Oh my goodness, you guys. I am already the type of girl that needs to pee all the time, especially because I drink tea all the time. I'm always drinking water. I've always been like this. And in fact, I think most of the women in my family are like this. We just don't have the strongest of bladders, okay? So getting fibroids and having that pressure on my bladder was absolutely detrimental, to the point where it was like I felt paranoid because I thought people might think this girl might be on drugs. Because I always had to go to the bathroom, so much so that I started avoiding drinking water during my working hours. I would be peeing back to back to back to back so bad, you guys. I went to a urologist because I was like, there has to be something else wrong here. And no, it was just the pressure on my bladder. And when that pressure started to release off of my bladder, I literally could cry. Like, even thinking about it now, that was one of the biggest, most monumental moments during this journey, but not quite as big as this next one. This brings me to the next thing up on this list that I noticed as I was shrinking my fibroids. More manageable periods. You already know. I feel like we in this community are locked in, right? Like, if you have fibroids bad the way that I did, then you have already experienced the trauma of how bad your periods can get, right? And experiencing a more manageable period at that time in my life literally set me free in ways that I can never explain to you. So let me just give you a picture here. First of all, the week leading up to my period, my luteal phase, was awful. I was so bad. I felt like I was short-circuiting. The brain fog and the forgetfulness were Alzheimer's level. I'm not even lying to you. Of course, the fatigue, the inability to perform at all, anything. Like, I felt like as a business owner at that time, I felt like if I had an important meeting or something, I was just gonna fumble it. It was really, really affecting my life and my finances in an incredible way. And I don't think that I talk about that enough, how much this affected my life. I also was experiencing flu-like symptoms, which now I know to be something called period flu, which is histamine in your body. And I just was going through it the week before my period. I'm not gonna lie to you. My luteal phase is still my most underperforming phase. And in fact, when I think about it, I'm dead in the middle of my luteal phase right now. And I can be honest with you and transparent enough with you at this point to tell you that back then I would have never been able to even come on here and be as cognitive and deliver this information like this. Like, it was really, really bad, you guys. It actually makes me a little emotional when I think about it because I thought I was losing my mind. So anyway, the period itself, whoa. Whoa, the cramps were debilitating. Do you hear me? The heaviness of the period also was something that I would like to say was awful. And at that time, I didn't understand how unhealthy and how bad that was for me, especially having been super anemic at the time. I could not even leave my house the first 2 days of my period because I was bleeding that much. I was using like 3 lines of protection. I had on period panties, tampon, and a pad. And at a point in time, I just stopped using tampons because they were absolutely useless. I would bleed them out so then I tried the period cup. I was bleeding so much that it seemed like that was also useless. And I also want to note my experience using the period cup. I have like 15 different ones. And I think my cervix is high during my period, if I'm not mistaken. It's higher or lower? Damn, I should know this. Luteal phase, I'm telling you. I tried this one that was a bit longer and slimmer, and that was the best one because it wasn't giving me that pressure. That pressure while already experiencing the awfulness that was my period. So period cup was no use. It was really terrible. I actually felt like I needed to be hospitalized at some point in time because I was so inflamed and I was in so much pain. I couldn't think. I was hot. I was cold, I was cramping, I was bleeding. So here I am like lying on my den couch with a towel so that I don't ruin my couch, with a heating pad on the front and a heating pad on the back and a bottle of ibuprofen. No lie. Again, my Happy Flow was one of those things that when I started it really changed those periods for me. And when this started to change, you guys, I remember my first period that was almost normal, which wasn't even normal back then, but it was the most normal period that I had had in ages. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm not bleeding everywhere. I have energy. I still did get like breast tenderness and I still got a little bit of cramps, but I was outside going for walks. I actually started to be able to go to the gym, which would never, ever happen on my periods. And having more manageable periods was like one of those signs from God, like your hormones are changing for the better. So one of the most obvious signs that my fibroids were shrinking was that my stomach was going down. And not just my stomach, but obviously that lower region where it kind of looks like you got that baby bump. Yeah, that. And in my case, I had a huge baby bump, okay? And that going down, oh my God. The idea that people were not going to keep asking me how many months pregnant I was, my confidence coming back and my ability to wear the clothes that I wanted to wear and not have to hide my body, just feel normal. That was one of the signs that really, really confirmed for me, okay, girl, what you're doing is it. You are hitting all the marks. Let me write this down. At that point, I was like, oh, okay, I can share this with the world. And that was such a tremendous time of my life. And I really, really want for you all to feel what that feels like, because I know what it's like when your fibroids are huge and you just are going through such an internal battle about everything, your body, your confidence, your just everything, your intimacy, all the things that you feel. I need for you to feel that. Now, on this point, I do want to address something because I get a lot of this in the comments, and you know I don't judge y'all. I love y'all, but I kind of don't understand this. But a lot of people ask me, so how did you know it was your fibroid shrinking and not just weight loss? I can understand that everybody's body composition, especially in the middle region, is different, but I will tell you something. Even when I was overweight, I never really carried a lot of fat in my stomach area. I never really had a stomach, if I'm being honest with you. Most of my weight is in the lower half, in the lower region, if you know what I mean, okay? That's where I carry my weight, not so much in my midsection. I knew that it wasn't my stomach because my stomach was never that big. When you have lots of fibroids in your stomach and they have enlarged your uterus the way that they do, you know that it's not soft like fat, you guys. I don't want to say it's like a bag of rocks, but it can be hard, you know? And when you lie down on your back, you can see that mound. That's not fat. That ain't going nowhere. When you are fat and you lie down on your back, it tends to flatten out a bit. So I just wanted to address that because I thought that's so strange. To this day, I still get comments of people asking me, well, how do you know you didn't just lose weight? Girl, you know when something's been in your body and something is invasively so inside of some of the most delicate and intimate parts of your body that doesn't belong there, you know when it's starting to go away. I also would like to say that my facial composition has changed. When I was in that hormonal discord and my hormones were going crazy and, you know, my body was inflamed and I was just hormonally unhealthy, my face, it was almost like moon face. It was super puffy. I didn't have a lot of definition in it. If you go back and look at some of my old videos, you'll see how much my face has changed. When I look at my face like this, it's like, oh my God, I almost look like a different person in some of my videos because, girl, who is that? And moon face is something that commonly happens with PCOS. If you look this up, they kind of get this round facial structure and that facial composition that's very indicative of something going on hormonally, something going on with blood sugar. Like you saw my face. So there's that. My facial composition had started to go back to the face that I was used to, right? So I had my cheekbones being more defined, my jawline being more defined, my forehead looking bigger than ever because I don't have the bottom of my face to balance it out. But yes, I wanted to mention that for you guys because you know I don't like to miss anything. A huge reduction in my hormonal breakouts. When my skin started to be more clear around that time of the month, I knew again, something is shifting. Something's happening here because I have never had acne in my life. And so when I started having all these issues with fibroids and hormonal imbalance and things of that nature, I started getting these cystic hormonal breakouts in the jawline and mostly my chin area. And sometimes, oh my God, every single month, like clockwork, they would happen in the folds of my nose right here and it would hurt so bad, I would start to get a migraine. When those breakouts started to calm down, it was another surefire sign that, hey, you're on the right track. So I wanted to throw this in for you guys because this is another commonly asked question that I get a lot, almost every day. How long did it take? And for me, it took me a consistent, strict 90 days for me to start seeing major changes. This is 90 days of me really leaning into my supplements, really leaning into fitness, really leaning into stress management and that cutting process of getting rid of toxic people, places, and things that I always talk about, and putting structure and intention behind my journey. I'm not gonna say it was easy. I'm not gonna say it was smooth. 90 days, it don't seem like a long time, but when you are in the process of refiguring out your body and really blindly trying to figure out how to heal your body when you haven't really understood your condition fully, at that time, 2 years ago, I didn't know half of the things that I know now. You know, this has been a learning journey. This has been a trial and error journey. I keep telling you all that natural healing, nobody has really laid out for us in the ways that they have laid out medical treatments and things. There's no protocols, you know? So it was 90 days of me leaning in. The minute that I tried a supplement that was giving me like, I don't know if I like this or not, on to the next one, literally, because it was so contrasting the things that I tried that actually worked and actually helped. If I couldn't tell whether it was helping or not, especially once my period came around and say I had been using that supplement for 3 weeks and the 4th week was my period rolled around and I didn't see any difference, I was like, I really contemplated whether I should keep that supplement on or try something different. I was serious. Like I was like, cut, add. I was very intentional about all the things. I already have videos talking about what to do in the beginning of your fibroid journey. Please go over and check out another one of those videos if you are interested in how to start, because I have so many videos talking about things to do when you first start. And as I explained to somebody in the comments just the other day, this is an ongoing journey. It's not like once you get fibroids and you figure out how to manage and shrink them, that the possibility of them growing again ends. No, this is ongoing until the end, girl. This is a journey. That's why doing things that are sustainable are so important. That's why I really don't get behind these detoxes and these fasts, because they're not sustainable long term. You need something that you can incorporate into your life long term so that you can manage your hormones, your blood sugar, your inflammation, etc. long term. All of this, drink a tea, starve yourself, water fast, all of this stuff, it's cool and everything, but it's only going to be temporary if you don't learn the fundamentals of what is causing the condition and exacerbating the condition, if you will. That's very important. So what didn't I experience during this fibroid shrinking journey? I'm getting a lot of questions about certain things happening in the body while your fibroids are shrinking. And I really like to address some of these things as far as my personal experience is concerned. Number one, no, I did not experience any clotting or excessive releasing of clots during this time. In fact, any clotting that I was experiencing mostly during my period was reduced. Abnormal pains, No, I did not experience any abnormal pain. Some people ask me, was it painful when they were shrinking? Did you feel sharp pains, this, that, and the other? No, absolutely not. I didn't feel any more pain than I had already experienced prior to my hormone balancing journey. So no, it didn't hurt at all, if you were wondering. Discharge, oh my goodness. I get this question more often than I'd like, actually. No, I did not experience any discharge. And in fact, if you are experiencing some discharge, especially if it is not clear, and if it smells, please go to a doctor, because that probably means you have an infection. And when there are things out there like cervical cancer and all of these things, we don't have time to play with that. And going back to something coming out of my body, no, I didn't experience anything coming out like degenerated fibroids or calcified fibroids or anything like that. Mine did not do that. Now, I know this to be an actual thing, and we will have a video on this coming up soon, but I did not have any passing of degenerated fibroids at all. I did have 3 different types of fibroids, and most of which were intramural and submucosal. So them being inside of your uterine wall, the idea of that, and not speaking about them being calcified or anything, but people asking me, did pieces of them come out or did clots come out? If they were that superficial, they would be coming out during our period. They're deep. They're inside of your uterine wall sometimes. That's not something that's going to shed like the lining of our uterus. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, right? Because every month, our body would be getting rid of them. Unless it's been degenerated or calcified, in my mind, in my brain, the way my brain works, y'all know I'm very scientific. When I think about the idea of them just coming out, it seems weird. Thought it very important to address this, because if you think that there's something off going on, please go get that checked out. I've read more than enough websites that are selling teas and detoxes and stuff saying that people are passing the fibroids. If they are not degenerated, like I said, or calcified, I don't know how that works. I've seen people talking about they're passing clots and that stuff is coming out, and they're like, oh, I can see it happening already. I am not a doctor, but that does not sound good to me. That sounds like maybe something's going on, and maybe you need to get that checked out. Like I said, girls, we don't have no time to play in that region. Cervical cancer is seriously on the rise, and as women, we're already being misdiagnosed. Our pain is already not being listened to and paid attention to. We don't have time to be playing up in there, okay? Go to the doctor. If you don't like that doctor, go to another doctor. Henry, hold on. Let me just make this clear. Let's make this really clear right now. If you don't like the doctor, stop going to that doctor. Go to another doctor. Go get a second opinion. Go get a third opinion if you can. I feel like I need to say this because I don't know if we have like medical Stockholm syndrome or something, and we feel like our body and our health belongs to these doctors. I don't care how long you've been seeing a doctor. If you feel like you are not seeing any healing in your body, if they are not giving you solutions that are aligned with your beliefs and your goals, and furthermore, if they gaslight you and they are abusive with their language, go to another doctor, because it's very likely that they don't care about your health. That's really the sad truth. And this video is absolutely not about that. And I don't want to rant on about it, but I need you to understand and hear me clearly. You are responsible for your health. You are. And even if you do find a wonderful, caring doctor, the way that the world is set up these days, these doctors don't have the same care that they used to. They don't care. They got so many people to see. They got so many women in and out of that bad boy. You and your little uterus, they don't care. And if they show you they don't care, don't keep going, because you and your uterus are important. You and your health are important. Please stop wasting your time, your hard-earned money, your insurance dollars and whatever, deductibles and things and all that on doctors that do not care about you. Okay, so before the sun sets, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I really, really hope that this video was helpful for you ladies and informative, because these are questions that I get so often, and you know that I got you, and you know that I'm gonna come through with the info, okay? And ladies, remember that everybody's body is different. My experience may not be indicative of your experience, but these are great indicators that your hormones are shifting for the better. And a reminder, if you have found this video helpful, please do me a favor and join the family by subscribing. Thumbs up this video if you found it helpful. And of course, like I said, comment down below because we are a very active community in these comments, okay? For more resources, please check out my website, hotgirlhealthjourney.com. And you know, while I got you here, that I'm not gonna let you go without suggesting that you watch another video. Please check out this video for more information on natural fibroid healing. Tremendously helpful for my fibroid girlies. And until next time, mwah, I love you guys so very much, and I cannot wait to see you in another video.